guys, welcome to another video in the GMAT Master Series. Today we are looking at something called run-on sentences. This is a fairly tricky concept and for the simple reason that your ear will often confuse you. As in, what will sound correct will actually end up being incorrect. And the concept of run-ons is rooted in the concept of dependent and independent clauses. So in case you're not aware of what those clauses are, the previous video in the master series is on that topic. So please go and watch that first. You will find a link in the description below and then come back and continue with this video. Okay, so let's get started with run-ons. Here's the sentence for you on the screen. Kevin is a great athlete, comma. He has won 20 medals. So look at it for 10-15 seconds. How does it look to you? Do you think it's correct or incorrect? Now, a lot of people tell me that it sounds correct, or that while it could be better, they can't identify any problem with it. Of course, those of you who've been preparing for the GMAT immediately know that this is as incorrect a sentence as you can get. Because look at the part before the comma. Kevin is a great athlete. And look at the part after the comma. He has won 20 medals. Both of these are independent clauses. Don't let that he confuse you. Put Kevin over there. Kevin has won 20 medals. Absolutely independent. So two independent clauses or two complete sentences can never be connected using a comma. Otherwise, why do you have a full stop or a period? You can do everything with a comma itself. So such sentences are called run-on sentences. So basically a run-on sentence is nothing but when you connect two independent clauses using a comma, which is absolutely incorrect. So how do you fix run-on sentences? Well, you can of course put a full stop or a period in place of the comma, but the GMAT will never do that. On the GMAT, there are three ways of fixing run-ons. The first is if you want to use a punctuation, use a semicolon. So Kevin is a great athlete, semicolon, he has won 20 medals. Absolutely correct. For practical purposes, think of the semicolon as the same thing as a full stop. So that sentence is absolutely correct. The second way of fixing is to use one of your fanboys conjunctions. I hope all of you know fanboys. So is basically a fanboys and we are using it to connect to independent clauses. Absolutely correct. People sometimes ask me, why is this comma there? Well, the comma isn't going to be tested on the GMAT, but just for knowledge, whenever you use a fanboys conjunction to connect to independent clauses, it must be preceded by the comma. If the comma is not there, the sentence will actually be incorrect, which is not something that is tested on the GMAT. It's actually tested on the SAT. So don't worry about that. Remember the fanboys. You can use the fanboys to connect to independent clauses. And the third way of fixing run-ons, so think about it, the problem right now is that we have two independent clauses. If you can convert one of them into a dependent clause, there won't be any problem. Which is the third way of fixing it? Put something before Kevin. Since, or as, or because, whatever. Since Kevin is a great athlete, he has won 20 medals. So these are the three ways of fixing run-on sentences on the GMAT. One very common trap that the GMAT uses is it will overcorrect in some sentences. What I mean is, take a look. Kevin is a great athlete, semicolon, so he has won 20 medals. So you've got a semicolon, you've got a fanboys, both. You don't want to use two of these three, you only want to use one of the three. So this is absolutely incorrect. Either the semicolon will be replaced by a comma or just delete the so. Similarly, since Kevin is a great athlete, so he has won 20 medals. Apart from the fact that the so should look redundant to you because you're already saying a since. Since means dependent clause, so you don't need a fanboys to connect a dependent and an independent clause. So again, only one of the two is required. There's a common trap, just be aware of it and look out for it. Another thing that gets confusing in run-ons is this. So something which we call conjunctive adverbs. If you've gone through the SC Grail, you know what they are. Words like however, nonetheless, nevertheless, therefore, hence. So how are these connected to run-ons? Let's take a look at some sentences. So John is an excellent athlete, so he won the marathon. Let's take one or two more actually. So John is an excellent athlete, hence he won the marathon. Let's take one more, actually two more. So yeah, now we've got 4 sentences on the screen. What I want you guys to do is pause the video, and go through these 4 sentences, more than one of them can be correct. Maybe all 4 can also be correct. So pause it, figure out which ones look correct to you, and then come back and continue with the video. Alright, so a lot of people tell me that the second and fourth sentences are correct. A lot of people also tell me that all 4 are correct. Another very common answer, second and fourth can be correct if we remove this comma, basically, the one that is after however or hence. All 3 answers are wrong, by the way. Right now, the only correct sentences over there are the first one and the third one, because in both of them, you've got a fanboy's conjunction, so and but, connecting to independent clauses. John is an excellent athlete, independent. He won the marathon, independent. So first and third, absolutely correct. Second and fourth. So see, now you're dealing with your conjunctive adverbs. What is the rule with conjunctive adverbs? Punctuation rule, basically. The rule is, conjunctive adverbs will always be followed by a comma. So this comma has to be there. It will always be there. The key thing is, what will they be preceded by? Because there will be something before them also. So conjunctive adverbs basically have a punctuation before and after. After, always a comma. Before, either a comma or a semicolon, depending on what that conjunctive adverb is doing in a sentence. For example, in sentence number 2, hence is connecting to independent clauses. Then it must be preceded by a semicolon. Similarly, in sentence number 4, however, is also connecting to independent clauses, so needs to be preceded by a semicolon. So when a conjunctive adverb connects to independent clauses, it's followed by a comma and preceded by a semicolon. Okay, like these sentences 5 and 6. Sometimes, however, the conjunctive adverb will not connect to independent clauses, in which case there will be a comma at both the ends. For example, I can also write the sentence like this, number 7. John is a good athlete, semicolon. He, however, could not win the marathon. Now, however is not connecting to independent clauses. The semicolon is connecting to independent clauses. However is preceded by he and followed by could not win the marathon, neither of which is an independent clause, which is why there's always a comma after it and there's also a comma before it. So conjunctive adverbs are preceded by a comma when they do not connect to independent clauses. They're basically in the middle of a clause. But if they connect to independent clauses, they will be preceded by a semicolon and they will always be followed by a comma. So do remember this, because we've seen a lot of students make mistakes with however and therefore and hence, all of these. You will see a list in the SC Grail. But yeah, the ear will confuse you because the comma looks good with these conjunctive adverbs, but it is absolutely incorrect. So you see, there are so many tricky concepts in run-ons, and we are still not done. There's one more thing, which is to do with pronouns and run-on sentences. So let's take a look at 2 sentences first. The same sentence basically, the only difference is in bold. There are 5 students in my class, one of them is from India and one of whom is from India. The question is, which of the 2 looks correct to you and which of the 2 looks like a run-on to you? The first one will be a run-on, by the way. So whenever you see pronouns like them, they, it, these, 99% of the time these will give you independent clauses, something we also discussed in the video on dependent and independent clauses. Your relative pronouns, one of whom, one of which, these give you dependent clauses. So they can come with a comma. If you want the first sentence to be correct, you will have to put a semicolon over there. Now it is correct. And this is true 99% of the time. Why am I keeping that 1%? Because I've seen some questions on the GMAT like this. There are 5 students in my class, comma, one of them from India. Now students will immediately think it's a run-on sentence because them, they, these always give you independent clauses. Not always, 99% of the time. Remember, what is a clause? A group of words which contains a subject and a verb both. One of them from India is not even a clause. There is no verb over there, right? Is basically a verb which is missing. So it's not even a clause, it's just a modifier giving you extra information about students. The comma is absolutely fine. So this sentence is absolutely correct. There are 5 students in my class, one of them from India is fine. but one of them is from India is not fine. That becomes a run-on sentence. That becomes an independent clause. So run-ons is a tricky concept. So watch this video again if you want, because they will definitely be tested. In fact, I'll give you a clue before we stop. Look out for the semicolon. What I mean is, if you do a split and you notice that 2 of the answer choices contain a comma and 3 contain a semicolon, or any other kind of split, basically some choices contain a semicolon, some contain a comma, immediately check for run-on sentences. The semicolon should basically be your clue that you are being tested on run-ons. So I hope this video will help clarify some of the doubts you had with regards to run-on sentences. I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.